I think this game is getting almost no fanfare, and maybe that's just because I am a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and I am going to the game, and I've just been laser focused on this team that has beaten my favorite team 3 consecutive times. But maybe it also is just because, the best player in the NFL is injured,
Right.
and for the first time in his playoff career, he is going to be an underdog in a game. But the San Francisco 49ers go on the road, plus 2.5, minus 102 at Pinnacle as the time of this recording. Total, in that 46 range or so. Eagles minus 2.5, minus 110. Ben, what do you think about this number? Because I think it's a little longer on the side of the Eagles than, the Jeffrey Bensons of Circa and some of the other handicappers would have said. Going into the week. But as you said, the Niners played a game that was not particularly impressive against the Dallas Cowboys. Do you like a side in this game? Do you like an over and under in this game? Like Ben, what is this game? Reaching out to you for?
Yeah, definitely. I do like the Philadelphia Eagles. I do think that, specifically their defense, I would say, is kind of one of the only units that can kind of, I would say, match up fairly well against the 49ers offense that doesn't really rely on one guy and can get a number of guys open and in space and get the yards after the catch and everything else, and allow Brock Purdy to kind of push the easy button in a lot of situations. But I think Philadelphia specifically, especially at the cornerback position, can kind of take away a lot of what the 49ers are going to try to do from, a wide receiver perspective. And then it comes down to, can the Eagles slow down George Kittle, and can they kind of slow down Christian McCaffrey coming out of the backfield? So I like that matchup for Philadelphia. I also think that if they do get up and get ahead, like, they are very much going to be able to kind of, dominate the trenches against what, is widely considered a really good pass rush. But I still think that they have the pieces along the offensive line to actually still take advantage of them. So I like Philadelphia. I do think that anything before getting out to -3 makes a ton of sense, but I still am like waiting for the other shoe to drop with Brock Purdy potentially like actually giving up one of these turnover worthy type plays and actually having the defense be able to take advantage of that. And if he does do that, I think that's all the separation that the Eagles are going to need. So I like Philadelphia here. I just don't see it with San Francisco, I would say. And maybe I'm missing
Yeah.
something. Maybe you see something, I would say, at this point. But I very much think it's kind of Philadelphia or bust right now.
Yeah, I agree. I would lay 2.5 with Philadelphia. I think the only look, you could have is possibly San Francisco on a teaser out to 8.5. Now the Bengals and Chiefs are kind of in a dead zone. You had at one point in time when the Chiefs are plus 2.5 before Right Eagle Sports bet them. You could
Yes.
have teased them up. You could have teased Cincinnati up at the very, very beginning when it was 1.5, 2.5. But for now, I think the Eagles are the only side here. The one thing that worries me if I'm a Philadelphia backer is neither one of these teams has been particularly tested. I think, I tweeted this out the other day. But the Eagles' most difficult team that they've faced so far this season has been our favorite team, the Detroit Lions,
Right.
in the first week of the season. That's literally the best team that they've played. Now, San Francisco, you have
They
you know
lost pretty
a
handedly to
loss to
the
a
Chiefs or
loss to the
whatever,
Chiefs.
right? Yeah. They
Yeah, they have
beat
a
the
loss to the Chiefs by
Chargers.
21 right after they acquired McCaffrey. And then since then, they have a win against the Chargers, but the Chargers were banged up. And I also don't think the Chargers are that good.
Right.
Um,
The
Arizona, New
Cowboys.
Orleans, Miami, kind of there.
They
Although
were
Tua,
banged up then too,
that's
right?
another one. That's a 9-8 football team. The Bucks
Yeah.
were frauds. The Seahawks were ultimately frauds. And you had the Vegas Raiders, the Washington Commanders, the Arizona Cardinals, the Seahawks again. I think Dallas last week, as weak as they were the best team that the Niners have faced. So neither one of these teams has really been all that battle tested this year. And I think, if, this could be a live betting situation. Like the Eagles are a team where, they very much want a game like they had against the Giants. Who doesn't? But like they're a team that when they can get out ahead, they can run the football with their quarterback, they can run the football with their backs and just kind of play keep away. We've seen, Monday night against Washington when they get behind. It's difficult for Hurts to sort of throw when they expect him to throw. The Indianapolis game, they came back and won that game, but the final drive that led to a touchdown had no completions in that game for the Eagles.
Right.
So on and so forth. So if you're the 49ers, I know our friend Josh Hermsmeyer wrote this article on 538 about this. You want to use the fact of how good Kyle Shanahan is as a scripter. You want to get ahead. And I think if you get ahead in this game, then the Niners are actually an edge. It
Right.
just depends, if the Philadelphia defense can get a stop or two. the Eagles can go downfield and get a score, then I think the Eagles are an edge, because that's really how they like to play. So it really is, to me, the team that gets the first lead in this game, I think is almost, a sure to win, which is very interesting in this one. So let's.
Yeah, I think you hit it. I mean, obviously the scripted play set's going to not only be able to tell a lot, but also is very much going to drive the outcome of this game. But I agree. I also think, like, if you were listening to other people kind of handicap this matchup, like, it is very much tilted in the one-sided direction that the Eagles haven't played anybody, but both these teams haven't played anybody, right? And both these teams, I would say, don't have a ton of legitimate wins on their schedule. So how are they going to actually do when they are not kind of capable of playing the bully type football, in the trenches and winning that way and establishing that and going in that direction? But I think there's just more upside leaning in Jalen Hurts' direction if they are on equal playing fields. And he is kind of, I would say, almost like the X factor over Brock Purdy. So that's why I lean in the Philadelphia Eagles direction as well. But I do think you make a ton of good points as far as like where this game is going to be won is probably honestly on the scripted play set that starts off this matchup.
Yeah, for sure. And these teams have come from a long way, right? The Eagles preseason were about 48-1 on Pinnacle. Once they started the postseason, they were 5-1. Now, of course, they were, as we talked about previously, in a very good spot as the favorite at plus 243. The 49ers preseason were 16-1, kind of darlings always at that time. And now, of course, they are the fourth favorite, I'm sorry, at plus 308. So again, if you bet either one of those teams early in the season, you're dealing with a lot of line value there.